Hello there. In this video I'm going to show you how I make masterboards and using a masterboard, and also snippets, fabric snippets and paper and card snippets, and how I mix them together and how I put them together, because that does vary. This piece of card here is an A4 copy from part of one of my masterboards. I showed you a couple of masterboards in the last video, and the point behind them is you put them together and you copy them, so you keep the original. I know you lose the texture from the edges of the papers and all the rest of it, but it keeps that masterboard so you can use it over and over and over again. What I've done on this bit, this A4 copy, is I've drawn round a postcard shape here and cut that one out, and then there are two more there which I'll cut out as well. I've gathered together some bits and pieces to use with this, and you probably, when you look at it, you think, well, they're a bit busy, and they are bright, colourful and busy. If I had gesso up here in my bedroom, workroom, I might use some just to tone the background down, but I thought, no, I shall experiment with it the way it is and see what you think. Because of the printing, I've ended up with quite a bit of white there, but I shall cover that over with some distress ink when I darken the edges. This is a good sturdy card, and it's nice to print on because it's smooth. So some bits there to get rid of. I've ended up with 3 pieces of card from that one, and this is what I've decided to do. On this one here, I'm going to put that topper which I'd already prepared, and you may see it later when I show you through some of the examples of toppers that I've got and explain a bit more about them. So I'm not sure whether to put it here or to put it here. I think it looks better there, and then I'll put a saying or a word or a couple of extra bits at that side. Remember, these bits of card are purely for backgrounds, so you can do whatever you want with them. They're little pieces of art on their own, but I like to mix things up and then use them to put a topper on or another focal point, and you'll have seen various things that I've already done in the previous videos. Now for this one, I'm going to lose her. What I've done is I've taken one of my black and white background toppers that have been highlighted with the pink and the butterfly, and I'm going to put that there. I've stuck it down onto some maroon card and then torn the edges off, so it's got a little bit of a frame, and then it will need something here which I'll find and show you later when I've finished it. This one is probably the most difficult one to do. Lots of bits here, really busy, really in depth with various layers and lots of text. So I thought I'd use one of my other black and white toppers, this one here, that was sewn around like the previous one, and this time put it onto some frayed black fabric, turn that way and put that on there. Not sure whether to sew it on or to stick it down, but that was the idea behind using that one. So we'll see what it looks like when it's finished. So those three there are in progress, taken from an A4 sheet, and are ready to sort of finish off. But before I do that, I wanted to show you this. I showed you the background in the last video. I've already added, I'll just get all these bits off. I've already added some washi tape. Now, if you don't know what washi tape is, it is a paper tape created in Japan, and it comes in all sorts of various patterns, colours. Oh, there's lots around at the moment. You can get boxes of it in the range as well as single rolls. I have quite a few bits and pieces that I've gathered over the last couple of years. I still don't have everything that I need, of course, but you know, you use what you've got. So I put some bits of washi tape on already over the background of paint, stenciling and stamps, and I've pulled out some bits and pieces here to apply to the surface. So the first thing I'm going to do is put some of the bits of card and paper on there, and then think about where I might want silk fabric. There's a little bit there that's been broken off. Laces, net type things, muslin, decorative ribbon, sheer ribbons, and so on and so forth. So I'll just move those bits to one side and have a look at the bits of paper that I've got. There's music paper, there's bought bits of paper there, decorative paper, put those together. These bits here, I made some cards that had book pages in the background that then they were stamped and had various images on, and I've copied those so I can use them in backgrounds. There's some bought digi bits here, the butterflies and the numbers. So I thought I'd make a start and build up this sheet to show you the process I go through. First of all, I'll put some of these bits down. Remember that it doesn't matter what you put down first, because that can go into the background by adding extra layers over the top. The things don't have to go the correct way up either. You can do whatever you want with them. Tear bits down even more. You might decide that that's too big, so we'll just put a little bit here and a little bit there. Music paper's great in a background because often you get text as well as the patterning of the music. And don't worry that it's quite stark at the moment on top of the rest, because that will change with adding extra colour, stamping maybe even more, or stenciling more over the top. This doesn't have to stop with the addition of the papers. Do whatever you want. Okay, I've got some music paper on. Now I'll put some of this torn up paper that I created using probably a kiddie's book. That was torn and shredded in different ways already. So in the finished pieces that I've kept, it just lives on a little bit longer. So overlap. See, I've got some straight lines on here. Left those on purpose so that I can put them down the edges. So you don't always have to tear off straight lines. I think that should go in there. Get a few more bits of this on. As I said, it doesn't have to go up the right way. It's all added texture and interest. It's quite an interesting process to do this and then turn it over and cut it up. So you don't actually see where you're cutting and what you're cutting. You get some amazing results without even trying. Another bit using the duller side, and then I shall turn that over because it's quite nice on the other side too. The feathers. You can also use the paper to go over bits that you're not keen on. So for example, this section here where the stencil, I didn't hold the stencil down properly, or I used too much paint to start with. It's not got a clear definition like it does there, for example. So you could possibly cover that up. There it is gone. Nobody would know that you made a mistake, but then it's not a mistake, it's a happy accident. A few bits of this. When you're sitting close to it sometimes you can't see where you might need some more. I think that'll do for now. Let's have some numbers. I'll tear these in half. Three. So I'm not looking to see where the lines might be to divide these things. Just putting things down where I want to. colours here. I think that might be good there. And there's another bit here. Got some butterflies. I think what I might do with them is keep them and maybe fussy cut them out so that they go on later because of the white. There is one that I can use that's not too bad. Okay, that's got some papers down. Let's have a look at these things. This first. Put a little bit there. Put the glue underneath just to get it secured, and then I can add some extra glue later. And perhaps this way at this time here. A couple of those bits. Let's see what I can do with some of these. I go into charity shops and look for old bits of tablecloth and table decoration, which is where most of these things have come from. It's a shame to cut some of them up, but I tend to just cut the ones that have got rust or stains or are damaged. My mother-in-law is a wonderful tatter, and sometimes when she gets it wrong she'll give me that to cut up as well. Makes a nice difference because most people don't have access to some tatting to go on to the projects. I might have want this down here. It may be that I'll get a couple of postcards out of this, or some tags. It doesn't have to be postcards, but what I intend to do is use this as a masterboard, so I'll take photos of it and then cut it up. This will be the board that I'll keep. So I'll fiddle with extra glue for some of these pieces later. This is going to be too much. It certainly won't show up in a copy, so I may as well not bother putting any of the glitter things on. Let's have a look at this. A little bit of muslin that's been dyed. Put some bits of that on. I've got such dry hands at the moment, everything's sticking to me. pop these there. So at the moment we're working on texture and interest, putting things on that add to the overall pattern, layout. Trying to improve what was there already. Mind you, sometimes I wish I hadn't bothered, because what was there already was better than the end result. You can make messes. Then you just cut them up and use them anyway. I've got all those stuck on, yeah. So there we have it. Oh, there's a piece there that I haven't used. I would like to, I think. Probably a bit down here. And a bit there. So that looks quite different to when we started. It's got a variety of materials as well as the already painted background. So I shall leave that one there, and what I will aim to do is take some copies of it and show you what they look like, and maybe make something with one of the copies. So put that to one side for the moment, along with the bits. There we go. Now what I've got here is completely different. I showed you this one in the last video, and I have several copies of this because I needed to make black and white ATCs, and I wanted this bit here, so I had to print that 3 times. I've lost the other one. Oh, what I've done with that. Is it there? Yeah. So I had to print that piece 3 times so that I could do 3 ATCs to be sent off to an ATC swap. So I've now got several pages of this, which is good because I can use the rest, and that of course will be kept as a masterboard. I've pulled together some bits and pieces of black and white, and a little bit of blue just to lift it, and there's these 2 which may end up on here or on the other one at the side, and it's just a couple of jelly prints. I keep talking about jelly prints, and for some of you, you probably won't know what they are. You can get a jelly plate and you put paint on it and you get mono prints. So this would never ever be repeated. You couldn't make another one the same. Obviously if you photocopied it, it would be the same, but it wouldn't have the texture. You wouldn't get the lovely glimmer that there is there in the gold paint, and you certainly wouldn't get the same reaction on the jelly plate with the paper. So these are unique, and I tend to print them and tear them up. As you can see, this is only part of one here. This was a bought stencil, but the patterns on here are made with my own stencils. Well, not stencils, stamps really. So it's a couple of layers of foam. The back one doesn't need to be sticky, but the middle one needs to be able to stick to the back one, and then these top pieces stick on to get your pattern. So yeah, jelly prints. I will have printed that onto the jelly plate and then put the paper on, because the pattern here is reversed. So it wasn't printed straight onto there, it was onto the jelly plate, which reverses everything when you print it. and this one is this other side, and I can't work out. Oh yeah, that's that bit there. So again, that's gone onto the plate, and then the plate's reversed it on here. So you get some lovely effects, and if you make your own, then you know that they're unique. Nobody else has got printing plates like this. So there we have it. That has a bit of glimmer in the background as well. So we've got those bits which we can use here, and I might have a little bit of that onto this background as well. So a blank piece of paper. I will do a masterboard first, and then I will lay out some snippets that will go with the masterboard. Tear down some bits to get them on. In fact, I'll stop the video while I'm doing that. As you can see, I've torn some pieces up and made a start. So I'll finish this off by just popping things where I like the look of them. It's just a matter of personal preference. If you have had pieces on another sheet that you liked in the first place, then use them again, which I am doing on here, as well as using new bits of bought papers, excuse me, papers in a pack that are supposed to go together. It's always good to buy packs of papers because they are designed that they should work together. That one down there. Bit of this. Some more advert. You don't have to completely fill the background, because of course when it's cut up and you might want to add toppers or integrate other shapes so that you finish it off in a different way, then bit of this, then you don't need all of the sections to be coloured. You might even want to put a wash over the top of it anyway and colour all of it, or use some clear gesso mixed with some paint or some ink pad, which I've done in the past. Not that bit. That bit there. That bit there. Try and get rid of that white. Once you start using the glue and your fingers get sticky, it's difficult to control the paper and get it off your fingers. I have to go and wash them in a minute. And I think maybe something down here that will probably do me for this. Tell you what, I'll look amongst the bits I tore off and get a straight bit. So the beginnings of another masterboard, I might want to put some cut out things over the top of different sections that I've got from DigiKits on the internet. Don't know. It may be that that's too much. It may be that toning the background down just with some white gesso, then putting some of these on will make a difference. I also have stamped images that I've stamped onto tracing paper. Some of those could go on, or some napkin. I'm going to talk about napkins in a later video and how to incorporate them into your artwork. So at the moment I think I'll leave that, put that to one side, and I'll get another piece of paper out, and this time I'm going to make some toppers. Now I can use the same papers, but I've also got some browns and things and greens underneath, so I'll do a combination. I'll just get some bits and pieces put down on here, and this time I'm going to leave distinct borders between each of them. So I'm using the white paper as the substrate, and then I'm putting papers on the top. Which can be used as a topper. Now, that's enough as a start, I think. So another one. Let's start with some of this. I'll put the straight edge at the top. Leave a gap so that you can take them apart. I might put a thin piece of, these are all the bits at the back that I've torn off. Yeah, I'll put a thin piece down there. As I explained earlier, this is just one of the ways that I make my masterboards. These bits that are overhanging, sometimes I will leave them, other times I will cut them down a little bit or tear them down a little bit, doesn't matter. And these straight edges may end up being raggedy edges as well. Just because it starts like that doesn't mean that it has to stay like that. Just put that there. Put a bit of blue on this one. That over the top, put the rest of it here. extra along there. And we've got just a little bit of colour in that corner. I'll just put that on there and leave that for now. So I'll just move the black and white pieces out of the way. And use some of my jelly prints in the background along the next row, leaving a gap to get them apart. Nice bit of old book page. Can go on there. I could use a bit of bought paper with a hint of keys on it. And maybe a bit of this to go along the bottom. So I think you get the idea of how to do these bits and pieces of snippets. It's just a matter of not throwing things away. Keep all your bits and pieces. Take over the garage if necessary. But it's a good idea to have everything labelled, which I don't, but it's a good idea. So that you can find things easily. Still a bit too big, I think. Just a little bit like that would be nice. I can put that down here because it's got glue on. I will use this even though it's got a straight edge. As I said earlier, it doesn't have to stay a straight edge when you cut it out from here. There's some more keys on this one, I think. And a bit of the green at the bottom. There we go. So what I'll do is I'll finish this sheet off, I'll get the pieces cut out, and then I'll show you the process I go through to do the next layer. So I'll be back shortly.